Right, we're back again. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Jackie.
How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to be back in here again with you. And I know we spoke about me loads last time, or I spoke about me for like 15 minutes. So now I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
Because, coming back full circle on our journeys, we met, I think it was, did you say 2013?
2013 we met, yeah.
In Manchester. And it feels like a lifetime ago because our lives are so different.
Yeah.
But your life has gone through some mad ups and downs, and I want to, if you're all right to talk about it. I know it's some of it's been quite difficult, but I want to talk about it just because I think it's important that we talk about these. People come on the podcasts and shows like this, and they talk about all the good stuff and the happy stuff and the success stories, but not everything's like all good, is it?
No,
not at all. So I want to go back to that when we first met. And I didn't know this, but when in the last episode, you told me that you just moved to Manchester when we met, 2013.
Yeah, so just moved Manchester from a small village in the Lake District growing up. So nothing really going on. So I moved to Manchester, I think I was 22. 20.
Yeah, so we're on the same age, aren't we?
Yeah.
Within the same year.
22, just moved to Manchester, just done a season in Ibiza. So it sort of tells you a little bit of where I was in my life, going out partying, met some fantastic people and ended up doing the season in Ibiza, coming back, moving my whole life down to Manchester. So, so moved to Manchester and I didn't really have a plan of what I was going to do. Did
you not go straight into working at HYC, Help Your Claim?
Yeah, so I'd always done sort of jobs like I was a joiner. I was rubbish at it. I'd done just dead end jobs. So I moved to Manchester and my first job was getting into sales. Jumped into sales straight away and went and worked for a company there, and I was still all about weekends and partying and stuff like that for quite a while. I actually left there after about 8 months and I got on with everyone really, really well. It was a big company, but I just was struggling with that sort of life. Went back to Ibiza for a couple of months. Wasn't for me anymore and come back. And went back to that job and life started changing a little bit at that point. I went and started managing. I got an opportunity of starting managing. So
just a bit of context. What is this HYC we're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is HYC and what were you doing there?
It was a sales company. There was around, when I first started, there was around 100, 200 people there. And basically they grew that business over 10 years. So a big changing point in my life was probably meeting like our mutual friends, Pete and Cam, like businessmen, and they sort of mentored me into, I went from being a sales agent to within 3-4 years running a large floor on the company. I was running 100, 200 people and the business was crazy. Like, this is how you came into it. But it was a sales job. It was a tough sales job, but we tried creating a unique environment. So we would do all sorts of stuff in that office. We would do like dropping octopuses on you couldn't do a lot of you couldn't do a lot of the stuff now, like after 10 years, because people would be putting claims against it. But we wanted to make the job as fun as possible, so people wanted to come in and work for us. And we did festivals for the guys. We did I DJ'd
many of your parties.
Yeah,
you guys. Let me just do a little bit of this because I was part of this. You used to do the wildest work parties. You would book, like for example, you booked Victoria Warehouse, which for people who don't know is a huge venue in Manchester for a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Then the biggest one that you did, you guys hired the Garden in Tisno, where Defected and Love International did a festival, for 350 staff and took everyone there for a party. Like, crazy stuff. Like Wolf of Wall Street style party.
Yeah, so set targets, and if we hit them, we go and do these things. And in that time period of like 5-6 years, like my friends Pete and Cam, they took me from a boy to giving me a lot of control of the business and running and managing people. And I'd never really understood what I was good at. What was I good at? And I just become good at managing people and managing like processes in like people. If people want to work for you and you treat them right, then your business become anything. And they showed me a lot of like how to grow and stuff like that. So had 10 years there, ended up after about 6 going and setting up in South Africa. So flew out by myself and set up an arm of the business and ran that for like 3-4 years, grew that, and just got a real good understanding of how to run businesses, like how to manage people, and yeah, some of the best years I've ever had in my life, some of the toughest years, but best years, and yeah, that's where we were sort of up to.
What happened after? So after HYC,
after HYC, I set up another business, like with some friends, thriving, doing really, really well. And then the pandemic come and the business just got wiped out. We had to a lot of our guys were like new people, so we couldn't furlough them, so I was still trying to pay them because of whatever, but what we were doing we couldn't like basically do anymore because of the pandemic, and lost a lot of money and went into some pretty dark days after that, sort of trying to find myself. It was a really, really tough time. I just sort of like, I've been learning trading and stuff like that, and that was sort of the path I was starting to go down going after the pandemic. And I was like, right, I'm going to be this trader. I don't want any responsibility with businesses or anything. I was really scarred by like what happened. So I was like, I'll just become a trader. I'll do nothing else. And I did that for like 2-3 years. Again, had some really ups and downs trading.
We did it together. We were doing that journey together, weren't we? And it was on calls, watching ICT videos, seeing if there was something else that could help us, because the ICT videos weren't working. We found a profitable strategy. It didn't work. And then it just was this, it was this yo-yo.
And it's ups and downs.
It was really tough. It was tough.
I think that's one of the things. I love trading. I love doing it, but it's very difficult to trade. And I think this is good advice for a lot of traders. Don't just go full time into trading. Make trading your side hustle, and like learn what you're doing first. Get profitable, then leave your other sort of jobs and stuff like that. So, some really, really challenging times over them periods. I'd sort of almost gone from having everything to losing everything, and I didn't really know what I was doing, like with my life and stuff like that, but just sort of built myself back up and worked on myself, moved away. I've moved back to South Africa for like a year just to be away from everyone and just sort of focus on myself and get there. And then we come up with you guys. We come up with Nostro, come on board with Nostro, and everything sort of clicked straight away. I knew as soon as you guys, what you were looking for in the business and how you wanted to grow it, like that was sort of led for me. And I do think this is why I'm sort of put on the earth, is I love being in business. I love building business. Like
I was really surprised when I was going through the trading stuff. I kind of understood it from me because I didn't really have anything else in terms of like, I didn't have business acumen. I never ran a business. I'd just gone from 11 years being a DJ, crazy life, late nights and stuff, to then being in lockdown. I was like, right, I could probably work with this. It's almost like making music on the computer to be on charts, right? But you had this incredible, and I'd seen it in person. I've seen you with people at HYC. I've seen how you get people motivated and riled up, and I've seen you have proper deep conversations with people, because I used to come in the office every now and again.
Yeah.
And you had this incredible skill. And when we were going through that transition period between V1 and V2 of Nostro, I think it was just the stars aligned. You were at that period in your life where you needed something. We needed something filling. It just worked at the right time.
I think everything happens for a reason. I know this is like a little bit deep, but the reason that actually come about was like our good friend died of cancer, and we went and did that walk for him. We did a charity walk for him like a week, 2 weeks after he died, and that was when this come about. And like,
because we were sat in my garden. I remember having a conversation because you came the night before, and then before everyone else, all the boys came down the day after, and we were sat outside, and I had this idea. And it was then. So here, man, maybe it was Miles. Maybe Miles.
It was.
Put this together for
I
us.
often think about
Big up Miles.
Yeah, but yeah, and I think what I've learned over the last like 10 years is it's all about the people you've got around you. You can't do everything yourself, but creating a good, strong team, especially us guys who were together, like no one's afraid to say what they think, but if no one's going to get the backup if it's wrong. Everything's done for the state of the business, and everyone knows the roles, everyone works towards the roles, and having that team, that's what excites me, because you can sort of do anything if you've got a team behind it. So yeah, and that's where we're sort of up to now. 18-hour days, no sleep. But I wouldn't swap it for the world. I love it. I proper love it. So yeah, that's a little bit about my life.
Well, the journey, yeah, from my standpoint, I've seen, I've gone through some ups and downs, but yours are just some of yours are probably way higher and way lower than mine, and to see where you've come from and where we've come from when we first met to where we are now, I'm really proud of you, man. And also, I think us bringing you in as the CEO of Nostro was the best thing we could have done, because we wouldn't be sat here right now if we hadn't made those decisions. So
just on that, right? And it's like I was in some dark places at some points, I know, right? And I would see these quotes and things, and people would be like, "The dark times build you," and that. And when you're in them moments, you go, I'm not interested in this, right? But they are so true, right? Because like I look back now, I'm like, right, look how far Nostro's come from where it is, how much we've built. But like myself as a person and stuff, and you look back and you do need them reality checks in life. Like
it's tough at the time.
You need slapping and going, oh, this is too easy at the moment. And like that's what sort of makes or breaks you a little bit as a person, and just keep plugging away and keep digging, and then stuff comes how you want it to visualized. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, mate, thanks for sharing that. I know some of that, especially like the dark stuff, it's not something that people talk about. And I always try to speak up about this stuff, but we are in the position we're in now because of the low and the dark times that we've been through.
Yeah.
And it's everything. I agree as well. Everything's meant to happen for a reason. So yeah, we'll leave that there.
Yeah, let's never talk about myself on a podcast again.
All right. Deal.
Yeah.
Nice one. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.